Now, the remains of 40 of the victims of the Malaysian plane shot down over Ukraine last week have arrived back in the Netherlands. Let's get more on this from Mariam Namazi in our European News Centre. Mariam.
That's right. So the bodies were met by relatives, the royal family and other officials at a solemn ceremony as the country held a day of mourning. Almost two-thirds of the 298 people on board the downed airliner were Dutch. 2 military planes flew the remains from Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine to Eindhoven in the Netherlands. From there, David Chater sent us this report.
Returning to the Netherlands, where their tragic journey began, the first of the victims of flight MH17. 40 bodies, all of them yet to be identified, carried out of the cargo planes with the dignity and respect they deserved. Scenes in marked contrast to the treatment on the battlefields of eastern Ukraine, where their flight was shot out of the sky. The Dutch royal family and Prime Minister were in attendance at the ceremony on the military base at Eindhoven Airport, as well as more than 1,000 relatives of the victims. Their anguish and grief can only have been sharpened by the fact that none of them knew whether their loved ones were in the coffins before them. It could take the forensic teams here in the Netherlands weeks or even months to fully identify all of the victims. It'll be a grueling time for the relatives who are standing now watching the bodies being taken to the hearses and then to a military base in Hilversum, where the forensic teams will be at work. 193 of the victims are from the Netherlands, but flying at half-mast the flags of 16 other nations. The war is no longer something remote in Ukraine. It has reached into homes across the world. More victims' bodies will be loaded in Kharkiv in the east of Ukraine for the flight to Eindhoven over the next 2 days. The scale of this tragedy continues to grow, not just in terms of human grief, but also in its political impact. The calls for justice for the victims are growing louder. How much longer can European politicians continue to ignore them? David Chater, Al Jazeera, Eindhoven.